Going on out there in CDI Instagram land? This is Adam Cates. I'm here for your noontime Eastern seminar today, the Business of Show for 2020. So we're going to give it a couple minutes, just make sure people can join in, log in, and become a part of this. I'm sure everybody is feeling a lot of crazy emotions right now, a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncertainty, fear, all of those things. And the one thing that's sort of getting me through is knowing that I'm not alone in this. We're all feeling it right now, but we're all together as a community. We are all an army of love, no matter where you are. And it's really cool that we can connect this way. I'm not in New York City right now. I'm actually, I had 4 jobs that canceled. So I was supposed to be directing Mamma Mia in Minnesota right now. And I went down to Miami to, my partner works for Royal Caribbean. He's a vocal director there. So I went down to spend some time with him before going to Minnesota. Then everything, of course, got canceled. And the cruise lines shut down production. And so we decided, instead of going back to New York right now, because it just seemed a little bit too crazy up there, we didn't want to add to the chaos. We came out to Nevada instead. So it's actually 9 a.m. for me. I'm on Pacific time now, but my family all lives in Reno, Nevada. This is where I grew up and got my early dance training and started in the industry when I was young, when I was 18. Started dancing in some of the casino entertainment here. And then I went off to college and moved to Salt Lake City and got my bachelor's degree in theater, and then slowly made my way east. But my roots are here in Nevada. So it feels really safe and secure to be home in my hometown with my family. And of course, Huckleberry, come here. Come here. You gotta come say hi. Come on. Come see the people. Here you go. It's right there. No, the camera's right there. There you go. All right. He's waving hi to the army of love. He sends you all much love. And hopefully, actually, he's way more distracted, clearly, by looking outside. It snowed yesterday, so he's very fascinated by all of that. Okay, are you gonna acknowledge any of the people? No. Okay. Great. That was Huck. Go lay down. All right, so we've got several people logging in now. Still drinking my coffee, because like I said, it's 9 a.m. for me. But we'll sort of get started. So some of you might be our CDI alumni. I know some of you are prospective CDI students that may be joining us this summer or one of our weekend conventions. And I know we have some dance studio owners and teachers and faculty that are joining us as well. And thank you all for being here. Hey, Jen DeFelice, my friends in New Hampshire, I love you all. I hope that you're all inside and safe. So this Business of Show, like 101, is a seminar that I've given many, many times as a part of CDI. And we're in a really interesting time right now. So a lot of the things that I would usually talk about feel like they need to be put on hold for a second to talk about some other things that are tracking in the market and things that are going on. Obviously, there's a lot happening now and a lot not happening now. Hey, Kat, I love you. I see you. So, as you know, because I'm sure you haven't been living under a rock, unless you were on that, whitewater rafting expedition to the Grand Canyon and just found out what is happening, entertainment in our country right now and internationally is on hold. Everything is just on a pause for public health safety. And so we're kind of at a standstill. Pretty much every artist that I know is out of work. And that is a little bit scary. But like I said before, we're all kind of in the same boat. How long is this going to last? We don't know. They initially told us 4 weeks, but we don't know. And that's a little crazy, and this affects dancers on every level. So as you know, kind of the Broadway theaters were one of the first elements to close their doors. Theater in New York, and that expanded across the country. But also film and television production, things that were in production, filming. That takes a lot of people, as you know, especially those of you who were a part of some of our videos that we've made on the beach and whatnot at CDI in the summer. Like, it takes a lot of people to put a film or TV production together. So those have ceased production. Concerts, the tours, the live shows in Vegas. Sadly, Cirque du Soleil yesterday laid off 95% of the people that work for them worldwide, which is scary. And as we know, the cruise ships, I talked about that earlier. The cruise ships have ceased production for now, the theme parks, the pro sports teams, regional theaters. So it's a very daunting time, because those are all the ways that professional dancers stay employed. But not only that, we're looking at what's happening in dance studios. This is something that you all know more than me. Our dance studio classes are suspended. The competition and convention circuit is suspended. And so it's putting a lot of people, basically our entire community right now, out of work. In the physical sense, we're usually we're with each other in a room. That's how dancers and artists create. So as we're looking at the way the industry's tracking right now, and we don't really know the end date as to when we'll totally be back to normal, whatever normal means. What I'm really interested in talking about is, how is our industry responding to what's happening? Because I have a theory, and I could be wrong, but I feel like on the other side of this world-changing event, our industry is going to go through a shift, and I don't know what it is. But I think that some things are going to change, and the way that the industry is responding right now is interesting to me, because, like I'm talking to you now, we're pretty much going online, and so as a way to connect with each other. So right now, like theaters, like Broadway shows, opera, different events, they're going to live streaming of their events so that you can watch these live events or recorded versions of these live events at home. Oh, hey, Abby, I see you. Oh, my God, I love BAA. I hope they run this summer. Anyway, and so live streaming of events. Dance classes are going online right now. Seminars. Hello, here we are. CDI is offering you a lot of seminars. But the other thing that's really interesting online is there's a lot of archival footage that is being opened up to the public that has not been opened up before. That might be through the libraries. The New York Public Library, which has the largest performing arts library archive in the world, they're starting to open up some things for content. Broadway HD is offering live membership, free memberships for a time being. So there's some archival footage becoming available. And then, of course, because everybody is quarantining and has cabin fever like you wouldn't believe, a lot of people are coming up with new creative content online, which is really interesting, using their camera phones and things like that to create new things. So it doesn't feel like our industry has stopped, even though it has stopped. And that actually gives me a lot of hope as to what's happening. The other thing that's interesting to me is because this was the height of audition season in New York. So in New York City, usually between like late January up till like late April, early May, that's what we call like the height of our audition season in New York. And that is when a majority of like the regional theaters and summer stock theaters and production companies, theme parks, everybody, these companies come to New York because there's such a huge pool of talent there. So they hold their auditions in New York. Oh, sorry, there's a strange man standing outside my window taking a photo. Hello, sir. Weird. We're very friendly here in Nevada. Anyway, So audition season, because it involves big crowds, right, in small spaces, that has been put on hold. And so auditions are going 100% online. Video self-submissions currently is the only way that people are auditioning. A lot of theaters are being proactive, hoping that their seasons will continue, that will come off this hiatus before the summer starts, and they'll be ready to go or preparing for next season, things like that. So self-submission audition videos are like the now. It's something that had existed, but now it's the only way that talent is being accessed. So that's really interesting. And also, if you're looking at any of the other trending things that sort of affect dancers, but like everybody online, if you look at the increase in membership on programs like TikTok and Marco Polo, these things are also blowing up right now because of everybody's cabin fever. It's important to take note of what is happening, because as we get these things more in people's everyday lives, they might not necessarily disappear when things go back to normal, i.e. we're all out of quarantine. So what I'm seeing in terms of market trends right now is that we are in an unintended period of digital experimentation as artists. That's really what this is. Like, artists all over the world right now are experimenting in this medium of online and digital more than ever before, because we're forced to. It's the only way that we can express our feeling, our emotion, our anxiety, whatever that is, and also like maintain our ties to our community, not only as artists and dancers, but the community at large. So it's a huge period of digital experimentation. And we know the industry is going to change on the other side of this. We don't know the outcomes, but if we look at what's happening now, it's just a really interesting component that I don't think we should take for granted. And that's something, when you are a small business as a dancer, as a freelance artist, and you are in charge of finding and maintaining your own income from all different places and different jobs, it's so important that you also have the ability to step back and look at the industry from the outside, recognize trends, recognize styles, recognize things that are happening, so that you can always stay at the forefront of that information and what is happening. So, and I'm definitely going to take questions afterwards. So if you have questions, hang on to them, because I definitely want to try to answer them as best I can. But what I wanted to kind of talk about right now is, as our industry is so different in this moment, what can you do to keep getting ready now? And so I'm talking to younger dancers, teens, early 20s, people in college, people right out of college who are aspiring to get into the professional field and might not have grounding in that yet, or might not have a foundation in that yet, but are still really want to pursue this. Let's talk about some ways that you can keep getting ready now, even though we can't go to the conventions, we can't go to our dance studio right now and work on our technique and things like that. So what can you do? So there's several things, and the first thing that I want you to do to get ready is to participate. Participate in what's happening right now. So all of it is involving technology, right, in terms of how we're connecting. So you need to understand what this technology is and how it works. And frankly, most of you under 25 probably already understand it better than I do. I'm 42. I'm turning 43 this year. See, I can't even remember how old I am. But the thing is, you already have a great understanding of this technology, more than the older generations do. That is a plus in your corner. So understand this technology and get better at it than all of us. Because if this is going to be part of the next wave of how entertainment happens and this industry continues to evolve, if you understand it better than we do, you have a leg up. And that's important. That is an asset. So don't take that lightly. Ways that you can participate right now in the industry and what it's doing. So first of all, you can take classes with teachers that you never had access to. Hello, Debbie Allen yesterday. Debbie Allen, one of our most revered dancers and choreographers in this country that we've ever seen, was offering a free online masterclass to the entire world yesterday. That's incredible. I've never taken class from Debbie Allen, except for yesterday, but like, what an amazing way to access people that don't work the convention circuit, don't necessarily travel to your hometown. Ryan Heffington, who is Sia's choreographer, he has a studio in LA where he teaches, but he's not teaching on conventions that I know of because he's so busy choreographing all these TV shows and for artists. He's doing online classes. A lot of the teachers at Broadway Dance Center, at the Edge, things like that, are doing these online classes. So choreographers who you might not have access to in other cities are making themselves available. Take advantage of that. The other thing is, you can take classes from those teachers that you rarely get to see. So if you're a part of the Army of Love and you're used to coming to CDI in the summer, well, we're offering these classes all throughout the week in the evenings. So we get to connect again in a different way, which is really exciting, actually, because like, I get to talk to you right now and interact with you, and I didn't think I was going to get to see any of you until June. And so this is really amazing that I get to have some time with you as well. And then the other thing about participating is, what is your home studio doing? I'm sure you're all like very up to date with that. But if you're not, check it out. What are they doing? Email, text your teachers, see what's going on, and how can you be a part of it? So not even just like participating at taking class, but would they let you make up a combo that you can teach to the younger kids? Like, how are ways that you can experiment being on the other side of the camera for things like this? That's definitely something that you should be thinking about, because right now we're all just experimenting. Like, there's no standard. So literally it can be anything. You can start to create what the new standard will be if you're out on the front of it. So that's actually kind of an exciting thing. All right, so another question to ask yourself in terms of participation is, how can you be creative? How can you make your own content right now? So we're all practicing social distancing. We're all practicing a sense of quarantining, except Chloe Arnold, who I just saw on the beach. Ma'am, you better get in quarantine. Don't try it. She's going to watch this. But I saw a picture on the beach. I have not been on the beach. I love you, Chloe. You have my heart. Anyway, but how can, in this time of social distancing, how can you make content? Well, they didn't say we're not allowed to go outside. And they didn't say that we're not allowed to, unless you're in California where it's shelter in place, in some places, as long as you're 6 feet apart, your friends, go outside to a park, stay 6 feet apart from everybody at all times, put a camera on a tripod, and start making videos, safely. Please follow the government guidelines. And as we know, it changes every 6 hours. But be up to date with that. Can you make that creative content? Can you make a funny video in your living room? Can you make a TikTok? Whatever that is, how can you make your own content? Start being creative about it. Also, it's really interesting, you can take this time that you have between all the schoolwork that you're doing online, which hopefully you are doing that because it's important, and that's an experimentation into itself too. So, we're all just doing the best we can, but take advantage of the fact that all of this archival footage and all this streaming of live shows and all this re-releasing of old Hollywood movies and things like that are being put in your lap in terms of their accessibility right now. Watch them. Have you ever been in class with me or another teacher and I've referenced some obscure Hollywood movie musical or choreographer, and you're like, I don't really know who that is. I've heard of Jerome Robbins, but I don't really know what his choreography is. Well, you have nothing but time right now, so watch the film, the original film of West Side Story. Watch the Bob Fosse films like Sweet Charity and all that jazz. watch the old Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers and Gene Kelly Hollywood movies. Find those archival videos online, the Broadway HD. Search YouTube for old Tony Award performances. Yeah, the original cast of The Wiz, the original cast of A Chorus Line, all of that is online. So you might find inspiration for your own content in some of the things that you're experiencing. And I'm not saying like plagiarize it. I'm not saying like copy it verbatim and put your name on it. But what if you watch a video? What if you watched Cassidy's choreography and you were super inspired by it? And instead of recreating that choreography and calling it your own, what is your response to it as a choreographer, as an artist? What is your choreographic response to that? I don't know. It's an opportunity for you to be creative and experiment. That is a part of participating in whatever this new business trend is. I don't know what the end game is, but I know that if you withdraw completely, you're not necessarily putting yourself at the advantage that you could. So participate, be a part of your studio right now in the ways that you can, and be creative, experiment, and find new things. All right, another thing, what can you do to get ready right now? Well, number 2, there are some business elements that have not changed and probably won't change because they haven't changed much over the course of the last, we can say for the first one, 50 years. So like getting your headshot and your resume together, we talk about that at CDI all the time. It's never too, it's so dry in Nevada. Oh my God. And of course I'm hydrating with coffee. Not the best idea. Not all my lessons are good. Don't hydrate with coffee. Anyway, so headshot and resume. Headshots, that's always, can involve some cost and can involve another photographer. But I'm going to talk about something else that you can do in terms of your research for headshots in a second. But, resumes, headshots, resumes, reels, starting to get a reel together. Websites, most artists have websites now. So these are all things that are probably not going to go away as things continue to change. If you are sort of new to what, Robbie likes my dwarf mug. Yes, it's grumpy. It's my dad's mug. Anyway, but if you're kind of new to what these industry standards are for resumes, headshots, reels, websites, that sort of thing, you want to check out The Business of Show, my book, The Business of Show, that you can get on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com right now to learn more about these things. You have plenty of time to read right now. Also, if you already have the book from a previous CDI, pull it out. Reread it. You probably haven't read it for a while. You might discover some new information that is interesting to you. But anyway, check out Business of Show. If you're wondering about resume format and the industry standard, there are templates in there that you should definitely check out so that you're going with those standards. The other thing, if you're thinking about headshots, that's something where the style can shift from year to year, depending on the market that you're in, depending on the kind of work as a dancer that you want to do. And so one way that you can get ahead of it, even if it doesn't feel like you can have a headshot, session right now, we'll have to wait till this summer with MK, but if you're wondering about styles in major markets, what I always recommend is that you sort of turn to the dance agencies right now and see what they're doing. So you want to google.com, get on there. So some of the bigger dance agencies with offices in New York and Los Angeles that are representing dancers all over the country and all over the world. So check out McDonald Selznick Associates. That's msaagency.com. Tony and Julie are my agents in LA, and Greg Ulia's in New York. Go on there, check them out, look at their client list, look at Block, look at Clear Talent, and of course, you want to check out our CDI faculty, including Lucille DeCampley, who has her offices in New York, and Go To Talent in LA. Go on Google and find their websites and go on there and look at their clients and see like what styles of headshots they have and how does the style of their headshot correspond with the kind of work that they're doing. Look at the choreographers and directors too, of course, but look at what kinds of headshots dancers are using right now and in what market. And that might give you some information about, okay, what am I going to do with my wardrobe and hair and makeup? What is the lighting like? Is it indoor? Is it outdoor? Is it close up, cropped? Is it full body? Is it 3/4? What kinds of positions are they in and things like that? This is research that you can get out ahead of so that when you do have your headshot session, you already are a little more up to date on what to expect, and you're not waiting for somebody to tell you what to do. Because that's the thing. You're gonna have to be a go-getter. Because on the other side of all of this entertainment shutdown, there's gonna be some unemployment for a while. It's gonna be tricky. We're gonna lose some theaters, we're gonna lose some shows, and that is the sad reality. But it also is the reality, and I don't wanna lie to you and pretend that like, we're going to flip a switch in 4 to 8 weeks and everything is going to be back to how it was. I'm starting to prepare myself for that now. Like I said, I lost 4 jobs in a row. Like I have no income for a while. But that's why as freelancers, as dancers, you have to learn to save. Yeah, your finances. That's something that's really, really important. So, in terms of thinking ahead, the more you can be at the forefront in your thought process and knowledge in terms of where the industry is heading, the more prepared you're going to be for an industry that's going to be saturated with many dancers with not as many jobs for a little while. So you can be more prepared. That's really, really important. All right. Hey, MK. Love you. Hey, Melissa. I hope you're safe there in New York. We've been texting, of course. Melissa, same boat. She was doing a production of Guys and Dolls, this beautiful production of Guys and Dolls in Wisconsin that our friend Shanna Vanderwerker from Chicago had choreographed. And of course, that job got cut and Melissa had to come back to New York. And it's tough. It's really tough. So we're all in this boat together. And that's the thing. Hey, Chloe, I see you. I talked about you a little earlier. Anyway, so it's important that you stay ahead of it. All right. So we're participating in this new, what can we do to participate in this new, industry and what's happening. So the third thing, and this is for all of you, it doesn't matter if you're still in high school, if you're in college, if you're just out of college, is thinking about what your professional name is going to be. And this is always what I usually start my Business 101 seminars with, is what is your professional name that you're going to put out there? I know there's Chloe. So she and I have talked about this a lot because her name is Chloe Arnold. And she's not the tap dancing Chloe and Maud Arnold sister duet. So we've been talking a lot about that over the years. But really thinking about your professional name when you first start out is important because the name that you're putting out there publicly is also the name that you're going to build your brand around as you are putting your product as an artist out into the world. So thinking about that now is a good thing. Some people, my board name was Adam Cates. I never changed it. Casey Noblet, most of the people that I know don't change their name professionally. But there are reasons that some people would not use their given name in the professional world. So some reasons why that might that be. So in the unions, the professional unions for performers, you've got Actors Equity Association, you've got Screen Actors Guild, which is also American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, SAG-AFTRA. It was 2 unions that combined several years ago, and they just kept both names because it's a little confusing. one day it might make sense. AGVA, the American Guild of Variety Artists, which covers the Rockettes and people at Disneyland, the Cirque du Soleil performers who used to have a job, sadly. Any Cirque people out there watching this, my heart goes out to you. I love you. I love what you do. You're very inspiring, and whatever you're working on next, I'm coming. Anyway, so these unions all have a provision that no member can occupy the same name at the same time while alive. So this is to cut down on confusion, because if somebody called up Actors Equity Association, which I was a member of for almost 20 years, they called up Actors Equity Association. They said, we're looking for Adam Cates. We're interested in him for this job. And Actors Equity, who has all the contact info that's current for all of their members, said to that person, which Adam Cates? We have 4. How is that beneficial to their membership? So they made a rule that only one person at a time can occupy a name. So if somebody calls up Actors Equity and says, I want Adam Cates, there's only one of me in that system. So the person will be put in contact with me or my agent easily through that system. All the unions operate this way. They have for a very long time as a way to protect their members. So how do you know if somebody in the union already has your name? And the thing is, most professional dancers, if you are working for a long time, eventually you will become a member of one or more of these unions if you keep building in the industry, the levels of jobs that you keep attaining. Eventually the high paying jobs all become union jobs. For the most part, that's not a rule. And I'm sure Cassidy will talk to you about that when he talks about commercial dance in LA. But eventually you do become a member of one of these unions. So how do you know if somebody has your name? Well, get out that google.com again and Google the website for Actors Equity or SAG-AFTRA or AGVA. And you'll have to look through their contact info, and you're going to find a contact for the membership office. It might be a phone number, it might be an email, and it's a simple phone call to the membership office where you call and you say, hello, my name is blah, 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 and I'm an aspiring professional performer. I'm calling to inquire if there's somebody in the union that already is using this name. And they will look it up and they will say yes or they will say no. If they say no, you're good. If they say yes, then you are faced with a decision. How can you alter that name slightly or fully in order to make sure that you can maintain that name throughout your career? So it might be adding your middle name, your middle initial, changing your name, anything is possible. But that's something that you can actively do now in order to keep your career or potential career moving forward. Another reason people might change their names, if they are changing their pronouns, going through some gender identity change, that's a reason that people would change. Also, if your name is really difficult to say or spell, or you just don't like it, people change their name for that reason too. No judgment there. You don't have to do it. Another reason people might change their name is if they get married and their legal name changes. But what's interesting is that a lot of the professional dancers that I know who have gotten married, they keep their professional name the same as it has always been, even though their legal name has changed to match their partner and their family. So that is something where that is really interesting. Your professional name and your legal name don't have to match. You don't have to change your name legally if you change your name professionally. That's okay. But what you have to remember is when you're filling out your paperwork, your financial paperwork for your employer, you got to put your legal name so that they send the check to the right bank account. That's always something to think about. But that's a reason why people would change their names. Now, once you've sort of settled on a professional name, and you can get other people's opinions about that too, you can get ahead by buying the domain name, the website domain name that matches your professional name, right? So my website, you can look it up, is adamcates.com. When I first started out, AdamCates.com was not available. There is a Christian rock folk singer in North Carolina. He's actually really great. I've listened to his stuff, named Adam Cates, who owned AdamCates.com for a lot of years. And I had AdamCates.net. Now, this was like years and years ago when websites were kind of new. Well, he changed his online platform and let go of that domain name, and I had a great web designer for a long time who snatched it up for me. So I've had AdamCates.com now for over 10 years. You want .com. That's the most common way, website to have. So if you can get it, great. So buy that domain name. They don't have to be that expensive. You might not start building your website right now, and that's totally fine. But at least you have that domain name so nobody else gets it before you, and you have a step done. You can check that off your list. Also, let's talk about social media. Like, here we are. What is your handle? What is your handle name? And does that handle somehow correspond to your professional name? That's an interesting thing to think about. So your handle can match your name exactly. Some people's do. It can match your name partly. So mine is Adam C NYC on Instagram and Twitter, which I maybe have opened Twitter twice in the past year, so don't worry about that. But Instagram, I'm getting better at it. Melissa keeps me on it. Melissa said there was a Melissa Strain from her high school. There was 2 Melissa Strains at your high school in Louisiana? That's bizarre. Because that's not a really common name, but that's an interesting thing. So handle, so it can match partly. So Adam C NYC. Or it might avoid your given or professional name completely, but it can still be unique. So I'm looking at like Cassidy's Thumperdeuce, right, is based on nicknames that he had as a kid, but it's something that's unique to him. If your handle right now is something like Bieber fan 1298, that's fun. Justin Bieber, great. He's great. But that's not necessarily something that, as a professional performer, is going to help people find you or help you look professional, if that makes sense. So look through the handles of some of the professionals who you're following. So CDI faculty, but also, choreographers and dancers in the industry that you like, and kind of look and see, like, how is the name on their handle related to their professional name, related to what they do, those sorts of things, and think about that, because as we keep going more and more online, these handles are going to, I think, become more important in how we recognize each other and our brands as we're putting it out there. So think ahead now in terms of what that's going to be. All right, so how else can you participate? So I actually have a project for you. This could be really interesting. And so this is number 4, and that is practice creating audition videos. Because as we come out on the other side of this, I do have a prediction that auditions might go more online now than in the future than they are now. It's cheaper for the producer. You don't have to fly your crew to a city. You don't have to rent a studio. You don't have to. There's so many things you don't have to do to keep your costs down, where you can create an audition combo, put it out there. People have to learn it and send that content back. And then you're just scrolling through videos as opposed to having to go to a location and watch all of these dancers. You can weed people out in different ways. I think as we come out on the other side of this, we're going to see more and more auditions go online. It's already happening in the film world. Many of the initial auditions are what we call self-tape videos or self-submission videos, where you are making videos in your home and submitting them directly to the casting director before they would call you in for any sort of live session. as I said, right now in the theater world, 100% of auditions are online because we cannot be in the same room together. But also, like, there's already production companies and cruise lines and things out there that are giving dancers, and have for some time, are giving the dancers the option of sending in a self-submission, self-tape video in lieu of a live audition, because you might live in a different city where that's not on their audition tour, but they still want to see you. So I want you to look up some of these websites of companies that give you the option of doing a video submission. So right off the bat, I'm thinking RWS Entertainment, which is a huge production company in New York City that they produce for Holland America, Hershey Park, a lot of corporate things. They have some national tours in the works. Their casting office also has Binder Casting, J. Binder Casting, which casts The Lion King worldwide and always has for years. They cast City Center Encores. Like, RWS is very much in the forefront of the entertainment industry. Hey, Jill, love you. Hey, Matt. So that would be a company where you want to get on. You want to search, like, you can either go to the search bar and do video submission, audition search, like keywords, or look at their audition page. You'll have to do a little bit of searching, but you will find what those guidelines are. You can look at Celebrity Cruises. They have guidelines for it. I'm not sure if large corporations like Disney or Universal have them. We'll have to look and see if that's an option. I think Royal Caribbean does. We'll have to check with Casey, or she can check with Ryan Saab. If they're not now, they're going to go to it. But Six Flags. Start Googling some of these companies that what are the theme parks in your area that are going to be casting for the summer. Look at what their criteria is for what you would have to include in the video. The other thing is, if you are still in high school and you are looking at colleges, college dance programs, a lot of these competitive college dance programs and theater programs are accepting at least pre-screen videos that are self-submission videos. So I'm thinking about Pace University, where I teach in the commercial dance program, Oklahoma City University, who else? USC. What are some of the other, North Carolina School of the Arts, a certain school in Boston that we're going to avoid. So no. Am I allowed to say that? Anyway, so look at these schools and what are the guidelines for their self-submission, like pre-screen videos. So, hey, Abby, well, Pace is a dream school, and I want you to go there. I have no control over it, but get that audition video in. Anyway, so look at what these guidelines are. And so here's my challenge to you. I'm not necessarily saying apply for these jobs, because a lot of times, like, if you're in high school, you can't be hired to go on a cruise ship. You're not 18 yet. Or if you're in college, you shouldn't necessarily leave college to go do a job right now. But practice making those self-submission videos. Look at their guidelines and make that video that you think corresponds to the guideline. Look on the website, try to get all of the information. Now, instead of submitting them to the production company, here's what you're going to do. You're going to submit them to CDI for feedback. So I know a lot of you know that CDI has offered in the past where you can send in a video of your solo, your competition solo, and get video critiques from our faculty in the past. So now we're going to offer, and I'm really excited to introduce you to this new service. We're going to offer this new service where A, you're going to do your research, you're going to create your video. B, you're going to post it on either YouTube or Vimeo as an unlisted link. It's very important. Don't make it a public link. Don't make it a private link. An unlisted link. The next thing you're going to do, Huck, you're fine. Sit down. He's like barking. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to send that link to your video to CDI, you're also going to send a link to the web page where you got the guidelines from to make this specific video. So don't make a generic video. Try to make one that's specific to one person's page. So I'm making a video that corresponds with the RWS guidelines, or I'm making a video that corresponds with the PACE guidelines. Send us the unlisted link to your video and the link to the guidelines that you were following. And then what's going to happen is our CDI faculty members are going to offer you personalized feedback on what this submission is. So what we're going to tell you is, we're going to tell you everything that we love about what you made, because it's important to know that. So what are all the things that you did that stood out that we found to be amazing, that we found to be your assets and your strengths? And then we're also going to offer you some kind of constructive ideas using our inside knowledge from the industry, constructive ideas that then you can take and you can incorporate into your future creations, your future self-submission videos. Because what this is going to do is it's going to allow you some practice time to get used to that as the industry is experimenting, we're all experimenting, to get real feedback from professionals in the industry on the kinds of things that you're putting out there in terms of marketing yourself to these companies or to these schools. How can we help you shape that as you continue? So this is going to be a new service that CDI is offering. So later today, I want you to check back on the CDI Instagram because Casey's going to post more about what this program is, what the specific pricing is going to be, also how you can request specific faculty members if you want to give you these personalized critiques and things like that. So I want you to check back. I'm really excited to introduce this program to you. And so these are all ways that right now, as we're sitting here in March of 2020 with a changing industry, how can we continue to stay at the forefront of what's happening? How can we participate? How can we keep all of this going? Whew, that's a lot. I just vomited a lot of information at you for 45 minutes. I talked for 45 minutes? That was good, Huck. Who knew I had that much to say? But are there any questions out there? I'm hoping that I didn't miss any as we were going. I was trying to read the feed as we were going. But if anybody out there has questions, go ahead and let me know. We love you guys. The Army of Love. It's more important now than ever that we figure out how to stay connected, how to keep this industry moving forward, and how to keep helping you get a foot up. Dill would be a great faculty member. Casey, he's amazing. I've known him for many years. See, I just plugged you, Dill. He's awesome. Anyway, we really love you guys. We care about you. We're all going through this together, and I think it's really important that we remember that. So, I'm feeling the anxiety too, the fear of the unknown, the fear of not knowing where my next paycheck is coming from, and the livelihood, just like every friend and colleague and family member in this industry is going through. So, I love you. I feel for you. We are all in this together. Of course, I don't see any questions now, but if you have questions, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Casey, Cassidy, Melissa, MK, the whole faculty. That we are here for you. And I hope that you understand that you are not alone. None of us is alone. Stay in contact. Use that TikTok. Use that Snapchat. Use that Instagram and the TikTok and stay in touch with each other and the industry. It's important. And like I said, get to know that technology better. I mean, you already know it better than I do. Let's be honest. But get to know it better than we do, because you're going to have a leg up in this industry. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't predict exactly where this industry is heading in the wake of this world-changing event. I don't know. I don't think any of us know. But we are artists first. We are all artists first. And the thing about being an artist is that throughout our human history, artists are the people that help light the path for humanity to follow. That's what our job is. And it's our most important function. And you are a part of that. You are an artist through and through. Embrace that. It's a responsibility that we have to the world and our society at large. You're going to be a part of this calling in the future. That's important. And I want you to be as ready as possible to heed this call to action when the time is right for you. So stay on top of what's happening in the industry. Be kind to people. Be patient. Be understanding. And everybody is full of so much anxiety and emotion right now. But as a dancer, you have a way to express that in ways that most people don't. And that is really, really important to latch onto. Make those videos. Go out in the park, put on music and your camera and dance around. Come home, get on your iMovie or whatever and make a video to like a really cool song. Watch that like archival old movie and then make a video in response. Start being creative. Start expressing your feelings and getting them out and sharing them with the world through all of these platforms. It's not about the number of likes you have. It's not about the number of viewers. It's not about any of that. If you touch one person with the art that you are creating right now, if there is one person that feels inspired, safe, healed, anything by what you just created, then you are a huge success. If you feel something by what you've created, if it helps you get something out, then you are a success. Put that out into the world. Be the artist that lights the way. We have to do it, and it's so important. So that's all I have to say. I want to remind you that there is class tonight with Gia Monjel, who is like one of my favorite dancers of all time. Gia is teaching tonight, and that's at 8 p.m. Eastern on Instagram TV. So come join us, dance with Gia. I love you all. I am wishing you all the best of health, you and your families. I'm wanting you to stay safe. I'm wanting you to stay inspired. And come here. Come say goodbye. Come here. Come here. Yeah, come say bye. Yeah. So we're going to sign off. I love you all. I cannot wait to see you this summer. We're going to figure it out. We're going to be a part of each other's lives forever. And be well. All my love to you. Signing off. See you soon.